Okay. Let me just check are we live now? Let's see. Can you see it? All right. Okay, I think we're live. Hey, good evening here in the US. What time is it on yours, Eduardo? You're on mute. We don't hear you.
Okay. Now can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right now we are here. It's 7:15. It's going to be 7:15. We're right now Colombia is in Central Time, right? So we are 1 hour ahead of you and 13 hours behind Philippines.
Yes, that's correct. And I am running RoboJam Philippines Season 2, 2022, right here in the US. But my heart and my soul is left in the Philippines. And
Right.
it's 8 o'clock, 8:13 there in the morning. So let's go ahead and get started. See?
Let us bow our heads, place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you today with humble hearts and with gratefulness for all the wonders and blessings you have showered upon us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today in this important event. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in this momentous event. May you bestow your guidance and blessings on this event so that we can enjoy and appreciate the significance in our lives. Bless everyone present today that each may be able to share what he or she has for your glory and honor. Truly, discipline, perseverance, and determination to excel are instilled in us abundantly. This is not about ranking oneself among bests, but this is about the humble heart of a person who is able to see how blessed he is despite the odds and difficulties along the way. Lord, we acknowledge that everything comes from you, the God who orchestrates every second of our lives so perfectly. Because of his great love for us, all the praises and awards that we will receive today are meant to be given back to you. It is because of your grace and your guidance that we have come this far. Whatever is set before us, we give all the glory back to you. May this event be a success through your intervention. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Sa manlulupi, di kapasi
Okay. Hold on, let me just. I'm adding some people in our chat. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the second season of RoboJam Philippines. I hope you guys are getting our notification from our social media. If you're watching live via YouTube, we do have the link to our post into our Facebook page. Okay, so before I move on, I will introduce my partner here. Okay, so the one and the only, the most amazing person in the whole wide world, Mr. Roboto, Eduardo Restrepo, the director of RoboJam International.
Okay, right now I'm only going to speak a little bit, right? That's
Yes.
what we said. Okay, so first of all, I just want to welcome everybody who's actually watching this kickoff event for RoboJam Philippines. As Jenny said, it's a little bit strange this second season because we're doing Philippines from Colombia and from the US. But that's the beauty of having a virtual competition. That's the beauty of it. We have been very, very blessed and we're very thankful for all the teams that are joining us. So we're going to talk a little bit during this time, a little bit about what is coming. And for those of you that is first time that you're going to participate, you're going to see a little bit of that. So just welcome and thank you for being here.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking, or so we apologize for the moving of the day school. We did, just to let you know, we accommodated and we tried to accommodate people because it was testing period during the week and it's the end of the semester for most of our participants in the Philippines, and also the coaches are teachers too, and they're doing final grades, and we don't want to be in trouble, so we have to put them in here. Okay, so joining us today we have Daniel Bird, and we're gonna introduce David later for Feria Labs, one of our partners. David, before we move on, we want to say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yep, we are excited to be here, and I know David will be here, and he'll probably share a little bit more about what we do as well.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do a little recap of what happened last year. So last year we only had 3 categories, and now we're growing to 6. And with Feria Labs joining us, maybe next season we're gonna have more. It might be in person in New Mexico. I don't know. We're talking about that hopefully next year or the year after. I hope COVID goes away so we can move on. So last year we had the winners from Robo Sketch. This is the categories for students age 12 and below for the robots in Vex Code VR. So first place was from Canada, second place and third place were from the Philippines. Congratulations. Those are 2 different teams though. We also had this drill where it's a sweep from the land of Mexico. Okay. And the, whoops, wait, what happened? Whoops. Okay, so I'm missing one of it, coloring. And I'll show it in a bit. I think I had deleted the one of it. So just to remind you, we had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 countries join in last year. There will be some changes because of the confusion on the pre-qualifying, and that's what Eduardo's gonna make it clearer this year. Hopefully, if you're watching this from a different country, you might wanna know more about it, and we're always open to having more in the family. Last year we had around 36 teams per category, 24, 36, those kinds, those numbers. So hopefully this year, by July, I know you guys are busy, but we're looking at numbers soon. Okay, we're gonna have to start with this one while we're waiting for for David to jump in. So we're gonna have to check with our events. So we are going to, Eduardo is gonna help me. So remember, we have 27 days left. This was a few hours ago. 27 days left before competition. And we are going to the website. If you haven't gotten in, please go to the website and we're gonna have our challenges in here. So the links to our competition is here. There's a video guide on how to register. And right underneath, we have our categories. I'm gonna play a little bit of our video.
So, what's the secret?
Oh,
How have you guys made it work so long?
Excuse the
That's
We
ad.
have a deep, almost spiritual.
Whether you can jump in if you want to add more details.
Let's just watch the video and explain at the end.
Okay, so that's the first one. We do have coloring, and just a quick reminder, it can be individual, right? And you want to say more about your fine-tuned rules, Eduardo?
I think it's better if we're gonna are we gonna show all the videos? If we're gonna show all the videos, better to speak about each
Yes.
challenge one by one. So very quick about coloring. Coloring is one of those challenges that we have with our sim from Vexcode VR. We use it. Is this little robot that you have to program virtually in order to follow a path, right? In this case, what we do is usually a week before we tell them you have to go to two specific points. Example, number 2 and letter C. So they have a week to prepare, and the day of the event, they do it live. They do the programming live and they execute the program. Right now, it's amazing what they do, because right now in RoboJam Colombia, that was, I think, like a month ago, yeah, we had a new record. The record was 15.6 seconds. 15.6 seconds. Programming and executing the program. I mean, that's how fast they're able to make it. Yeah, given there were points that were very close to the starting point, but it was amazing, especially because the kid who won against even high school. It was like he's like 10, 11 years old, and he was participating against high school student and even university students. So that was amazing. And what we want to say right now, because you were talking about who can participate in the competition, any team from any country that doesn't have a RoboJam competition. Example, Colombian teams can only participate in Colombia right now because they qualify in Colombia for the RoboJam All Stars, which is our tournament of champions. Okay, but for example, we don't have a competition in Brazil. Brazilian teams could participate in RoboJam Philippines, okay? Or they can participate in RoboJam Colombia or RoboJam Mexico, right? We only have one exception, and it's because we do have an agreement with the Valerio Foundation, which is one of the sponsors for RoboJam Philippines, and we give Mexico 10 registration vouchers for them to participate in the Philippines. But it's an agreement we have with our sponsor. But other than that, for example, Mexican teams cannot participate in Colombia. Okay, they have to participate in Mexico. They can only do it in these in this occasion in RoboJam Philippines because of that agreement. But that's it. I've, that's like the general idea of who can participate in the competition. We have had teams from last year. We had teams from Australia, India, Tunisia, Turkey, Spain. I mean, we have a lot of Malaysia, right? We have a lot of teams participating in RoboJam Philippines. We hope all those teams, pretty much all Asian countries, can participate in RoboJam Philippines. All African countries, almost all European countries. The only exception is Slovenia, because we do have a RoboJam in Slovenia, and that's it. So a lot of possibilities, right? Okay, so we're gonna show another one.
Yes, we're moving on. Sorry. I was like trying to click my button and Zoom doesn't want me to click. Okay, let's click on RoboSketch. The RoboSketch is where kids will have to code the program, code the robot to draw. Let's watch it. Okay. So RoboSketch is not streamed live, right, Eduardo?
It's actually one of those of the asynchronous challenges that we have. We have two, RoboSketch and Israel. What they do is we don't tell them what to do until a certain time. And the moment we tell them what to do, they have 90 minutes to solve it, record it, execute it, and send it. And the moment we receive it, that's like their initial time. If they don't have any penalties, that will be their final time. If they have penalties, that adds to it. But the good thing of RoboSketch is, like, first, RoboSketch is 12 and under. Yes, for kids 12 and under. That's the idea. And we have had really, really tough challenges in the past. We did the sun, right?
Yeah, we did the sun. Last year we did the sun.
Representing the sun from the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we have done different things. We have done a fleur de lis. We have done in different countries. We have done very specific things from the country, and that's the idea. That's the spirit. So yeah, I mean, they have 90 minutes to do it. The record right now, it's around 20 minutes or 15 minutes, something like that. That's like the record right now.
Yeah, so just a quick reminder, we gave them 90 minutes.
Right.
Including the time of submission. So you don't wait for 90 minutes before you send. What will happen if they send beyond the 90 minutes?
What happens if they don't send it? That we don't count their time. That's it.
Right.
I mean, everything according to the rules, if we only take into account your submission if you submit it on time. So even if we leave it open and you submit after 90 minutes, we say thank you, but we don't even time it. That's it. Yeah. It's invalid because it's out of time.
Yeah, so make sure that, and we're gonna give you the drive. Your coaches do have to assist you. And you have to record your process and make sure that you do not show yourself in the
Right.
video.
Well, actually, they only record the execution of the challenge,
Yeah.
showing the challenge, but they do speak of what they did. They
Yes.
just, because if it's the whole process, it was gonna be a long recording, right?
Oh yeah, I
So-
mean not the whole 90 minutes, but like when by the time that you're running,
Right, right,
and
right.
explain a little bit of what you did in there. Right.
Exactly. And actually, yeah, the record is 21 minutes. I was just checking that
Okay.
right now.
21 minutes is the
The record we have there.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
From which country is that?
Actually did it in Colombia last year.
Oh, cool.
Here in Colombia, yeah.
Okay, next one. So these were the first three we had.
Win at work by communicating effectively. With Grammarly, meet Ty. He is
That happens.
That's double advertisement.
Okay, so I want to say something about this drill. This drill is open for all ages. We do have different, like we always ask the teams to rearrange those discs in very different ways. Sometimes they're forming letters, sometimes numbers, sometimes they're just totally random. It really depends on what. So the teams, they only learn what to do. They only are told what to do the time we start the competition, so they don't have any idea what is coming. The record right now is actually owned by a Filipino team, right? By Tagatai Science, our friend Mervin Boko and his kids.
They're actually
What-
here now in the Zoom.
Right. He did it in RoboJam Glam, which is our girl learnings and making to competition. It's girls only. That's the one we did last year. This year we're gonna do it in October. And in RoboJam Glam, they did it in 5 minutes. They did the whole thing. So that was amazing. Like how fast they did it.
Right, exactly. So remember that when you guys practice your disc drill, it's not always that red tiles would go to red boxes, green tiles would go to green boxes. It's always different, and it's always, again, 5 to 10 minutes before the time is when we announce what exactly is the positions of the tiles, the robot, and
Right.
everything else that you need to know. Okay.
Right.
So this year we're gonna have 3 more that we haven't done before, and this is interesting. So this is using physical robots. I'm
Right.
not sure, but I'm
I'll-
using,
That's okay. If we don't have the video there, do we have the video?
I think,
correct?
yeah, I have your
ahead.
video in here.
You
And
have
if
mine.
want to
Okay.
see all your videos, you subscribe to Mr. Roboto, and all
Climber
our
means to
challenges are
climb
there as
or
well.
move in a very awkward or laborious way. And that's what our robot has to do. Cover a distance of 1.5 meters climbing a surface chosen by the participant. It is an asynchronous challenge. That means you record and you send your best shot.
So the beauty of Clamber is that Clamber, like when we're doing asynchronous, just recording the attempt, they're gonna send their best shot. Really, like they only have one to send. What they do is in one shot they have to measure the surface where they're gonna do it, measure the robot, and then do it, right? And the record right now, they just did it in Mexico. We have done it in 3 competitions, 2 in Mexico and 1 in Colombia. And the record they just did it in Mexico this last weekend, was 1.86 seconds. 1.86 seconds. That's really fast.
I
That's
know.
super fast. Yeah.
And
So
the good thing about this is open platform, right? So
right,
any type of robot is
any type
what
of
they
robot, it can has. I mean, if you want to do it with wheels, you can do it with wheels. You can do it with, these robots that have those little legs on the side, like we were showing in the video. I mean, it really, however you want to do it. It can be a metallic surface. It can be a wooden surface. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever works for you. And you can also, you go to YouTube and you just type clamber RoboJam. You're gonna see the competitions that we already had, so you have an idea of what type of robots were working better, if you want to see that. But yeah, that's one of the competitions we have with physical robots. It's a new one this year. First time we do it this year. We have only done it in 3 competitions so far, but teams like it, and it's not as easy as some people think. Really,
Yes,
yeah.
especially in the Philippines where everything's humid.
There you go.
Okay.
Uh,
So another new one is what we call skill drive. Before I play the
Skill drive.
video, before I
Yep.
play the video, the playing field or the mat, how can they get like where do we print them?
Okay. I think in this one, like this image is perfect. We don't even have to play the video. We don't want to, because it shows that, as you can see, actually the map is made out by just letter size sheets of paper, right? All you have to do, we have a PDF document that you can just download and print. And then in the video, we actually show how to put it together and how you can use it. It's made for like that, for that specific reason. So you can do it at home and everybody's going to have the same track, right? That's the
Right.
whole point. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. And this is hoping where we have to make sure that you guys are printing those on paper. You can make use of the markers if you
Right.
have the little gaps, right? So this is hoping
That's what
for
we do.
Yes.
And this one is the robot is pushing an object. In this case, we use a 7-ounce cup, plastic cup. The idea is that it's not transparent, so we can see it visually, right?
Yes.
But it's pushing that little cup around that line, and the cup has to be in the line all the time. The robot can get out of the track if you want, it doesn't matter, but the challenge is to keep that cup inside the line. That's really challenging. And the record right now, they did it in Argentina, in RoboJam Argentina last year. I know, actually in RoboJam All Stars, but there were 2 Argentinian teams, and they did it in 11 seconds. It was super fast. Yeah, that fast.
Okay. And then the very last one, we have the
biped race.
This one,
Right.
can we play
Yeah,
it?
we can play that. This one is it's better to play it.
The biped race is done with biped robots. That means robots that actually walk on 2 feet.
I think it's for
They have to cover a distance of 1.5 meters in the least amount of time possible. The challenge is open to all ages, and we can use any type of robotic kit or platform in order to program and make our robot.
So, Jenny,
Yeah.
the cool thing of Viper Race is that people think that it's very hard to make a Viper robot. We can even do it with these yellow, these real small yellow motors that they sell online and stuff like that. We can do it with that. a lot of people actually use different platforms, like for example, the Auto DIY platform, right?
Yes.
We can use those as well if we want to. Other people use, even they have done the Viper robot with Lego, right? With
Yes.
EV3 or even with Spike. I mean, they have done it with different, or Boost. They really they use it in different ways. They can do it. That's not a problem. And is one of those challenges that is actually really cool for the kids to do, because it requires making the robot in a very specific way. The robot has to be walking, really
Walking.
walking, right?
Correct.
It
Not
only
rolling.
allows, no, it only allows 2 points of contact, right leg and left leg, right? So that's the whole point of it. That's the challenge of it, the beauty of it. And the record we have right now, I have to look. The record actually was done in Mexico. They tied up in, oh, almost tied up in Peru. It was in Peru was 9 seconds. In Mexico, they did 8 seconds.
Oh wow,
1.5
that was
meters
tough.
in 8 seconds. That's really fast. That's
Okay.
super, super fast.
1.5 meters is what they
Right.
need to run. And again, is there a limit? I sorry if I forget. Is there a limit on the video?
Well, in Viper Race skill drive are live.
Oh,
Okay,
oh yeah.
they're synchronous challenges, right? The other one is an asynchronous challenge, clamber. Skill drive and Viper Race is done live, so they have a maximum of 2 minutes, 2 minutes to actually perform the challenge.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can take the whole 2 minutes. I mean, the faster you do it, of course,
Of
the
course.
better it is, right? But the whole point is to do it really fast and do it well. In a skill drive, for example, it happens all the time. They try to do it super fast and they push that plastic cup a little bit more, and that's it. It gets out from the line, and that's it. You
Has
have
to
to
be
stop
within
there.
that.
And we add some points because we do divide, like going through the whole path is divided in 10 different sections. So scoring sections. So it depends on where it happened. We give those points. But the idea is that you finish, because we also get some bonus points, right? In the skill
Yes.
drive. And Viper Race is just the time it took to finish the whole path. The same in Clamber. But in a skill drive, there's a whole pointing system for it, scoring system, what I'm trying to say, scoring system for it.
Yeah.
So no, all I want to say is those teams, just don't be afraid. Just try it, do
Try
it.
it.
Really, like if you're not really sure how to do it, like we do have many videos. Most
Yes.
of them, we have a lot of them in Spanish, because these challenges have been done mostly here in Latin America, right? However, if you go to RoboJam All Stars, you can see it there too. You can see it, the one we do here in RoboJam Colombia, RoboJam Mexico, and you can see at least how they actually build their robots. You can have an idea what type of robots they have. We have had robots with uh, from Bex IQ, EV3, Mindstorm. We have done with Arduino, Raspberry Pi. I mean, robots of all kind. It doesn't really matter. That's what something we really want them to be open to do and to use. These, for example, this year, one of the teams here from Colombia actually used this one, this little guy. This is a toy. This is a toy. This is called, this is a toy. It's a Wally knockoff, I will say. And they participated in skill drive with these little toys. They didn't win, but they did their best. Because in a skill drive, what matters is how good you are controlling your robot. That's what really what we're testing there. So, I mean, we're really open for the kids to compete with any type of robot. A skill drive, Viper Race, and Clamber, they're open for all ages, meaning also if we have 99-year-old kids that want to participate, they can do it.
99
No
year
problem.
old, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that 99 year young kids, right?
You're young. Yes.
Young kids. If they want to participate, they can do it, no problem. And that's it. I think that's pretty much what covers all the challenges, requirements to participate. Any questions the kids or the coaches have, send us a message. Send it to Jenny, send it to me. I don't have problem. We do have a chat where some of the coaches are there already. Whenever she's not available, if I'm available, I'm gonna answer. Don't worry. I mean,
We
we
cover all time zones. Don't worry.
pretty much, right?
So
So it
if we
doesn't.
don't respond right away, we might be still sleeping, but we'll get there. We'll
Yeah,
get
they send it. It's like I cannot sleep. I'm gonna send a message 3 o'clock in the morning, and somebody's gonna answer because we're in like 5 different time zones, right?
right.
But anyway, just go ahead, do it. We just really, really want to encourage all the teams to participate. We had close to 66 teams, I think was last year, 66, 67, something like that.
200 participants
Right.
signed in, and then they broke up into teams.
We want to have more than 100 this year. We
I
want
know,
to have
right?
over 100 in Colombia. Colombia had 132 teams this year. Last year we had 137. And in RoboJam All Stars, we had 144. 144 last year. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of teams. So we really want.
We got 100 and something. I was like scared.
In RoboJam, we have had teams from 26 different countries participating, because this year in RoboJam Slovenia, we even had teams from Finland, Poland. We had a team from North Macedonia. I have to look in the map because I didn't even know where that was. Yeah, I have to confess that happens, right?
We're gonna have teams from Nigeria, isn't that correct? Like we didn't have them last
year. Cameroon. This year we're gonna have Cameroon. We're gonna have this year. We're gonna have some teams from Mexico that are invited through our sponsor, and we hope to have again teams from India like we did last year, teams from Turkey, Malaysia, teams from Tunisia, hopefully. I mean, we just want to invite everybody to participate, and that's it. Any questions you may have, just go ahead, make them, please. Don't stay quiet. Just ask. That's it. There you
one
go.
last question that they have. We took off Steam Task this year.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Okay. The Steam Task Challenge is a challenge that we have, is our innovation challenge, right? For innovation projects. This year, we still have it, but we don't have it in the national competitions. Let me explain why. The reason why is because we would only have 1 or 2 teams actually registering from each country. And that was not enough to do a whole competition for that challenge. So we decided to give it a try, and we're doing what we call the Steam Task Global Fest. That means that all the teams that want to participate, they're only going to participate in one competition with teams all around the world. Right now, we already have teams from Ecuador and teams from Uruguay that are registered for that competition. That is in October. They have till October 16 to send their videos and to register. I mean, they have plenty of time to do so. But we're gonna show the winners in October 29th or October 30th, I think. I'm not sure, but I have so many dates for RoboJam here in my mind. I think it's October 30th this year. We're gonna actually show the winners that day, and the week after, November 5th and 6th, we're gonna have the RoboJam All Stars with the rest of the challenge.
Yes, correct. And if you want to know more, it's not too late for them to register at this point. Am I correct? Like
no, they can still register till October, so no problem.
Cool.
For a Steam Task, they can register till October.
Okay, cool beans. Okay, so that's all the challenges and everything you need to know. Rules and tasks will be on our website, anything that you want to collaborate with, we go, let me just go back to here. Whoops, going back to here. Go visit also our international page, and we do have all our announcements here. We already are done. Upcoming will be, we have some changes due to some unforeseen events. We have Colombia upcoming, Bolivia, Uruguay, El Salvador, Panama, Argentina, Honduras, the Glam on October. This is like for old girls only. Sorry, boys, but it's girl time in here. Team Task Global on the 29th, and of course, our All Stars on November 4 to 5. Okay, and some more coming up, and we'll see if we get the US. Probably we're gonna have that in there soon. Okay, so I'm my friend Eduardo, and I am going to welcome our friend right here. Let me stop sharing for a little bit so we can see everybody. So we do have Daniel and David here from our friends in Feria Labs. I just met them, when was it, David? Like March, we had the PD and Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I enrolled myself in Pathfinders Institute. We've been doing workshops for a week. We ended today 3 hours ago, and we're still having a hangover. We do have some.
We ended and then I disappeared on you.
I know. We do that. Okay, so we have David also, Daniel also, who is part of Feria Labs. So Jerry's not here. She might be doing something else. So just to get you introduced, and I know Eduardo's gonna leave us soon because he has to do his luggage. He's gonna be flying to the US tomorrow morning.
Right.
Right.
I'm flying. Well, I'm flying tomorrow for us, today for our friends in the Philippines, because
Yes.
it's on Saturday, but right now it's still Friday for us. But yeah, I will be flying tomorrow to the States, and I just wanted to come here by and talk to everybody. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna be out of the meeting, but I'm gonna be actually watching the streaming while I'll do my luggage, I guess. I just want to say before I leave to Daniel and David, thank you. Thank you for being part of this initiative right now in the kickoff. Hopefully for next year, we'll see. Hopefully next year we can work something out to make you part of RoboJam as well, using your platform. But right now, all I have to say is thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the event. And that's it.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks,
you.
Eduardo. I enjoyed seeing some of what you've showed, so I'll look forward to looking more at that. You know, we got to make we use those yellow TT motors. We could make a biped out of this guy. We're gonna do biped racing for sure. So.
Right. I know. I'm excited. I was like trying their platform, and it's really good fit for our competition.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, and safe travels.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I'm going back to see my screen.
Okay.
Okay. So before, do you see my screen?
Oh, yes, I can see it. That's so nice.
Yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so for an introduction, first of all, before I say anything, David is the president of Feria Labs. He is he thrives at the intersection of software, hardware, and education. He's really good at that. An electrical engineer by schooling in Auburn University and a lifelong student of computer science. He's held chief software architect positions at Nokia in
Adtran is that company, yeah.
And helped start Internet of Things company in I can't see it.
Probably Synapse Wireless. Yeah.
Wireless, yes.
Yeah.
And where he was CTO and inventor of the Snap Mesh Network platform. From circuit design to embedded coding on tiny microcontrollers to cloud computing to the latest front-end web application software. David's breadth of practical experience yields unique insight and innovative approaches to product development. And as the president of EdTech startup Feria Labs, David and his team current focus is on providing educators with the tool and curriculum that they need to overcome the obstacles to teaching CS in a way that inspires in student a passion for creating.
Whew. That's a lot to say. Those are long sentences. Yeah.
But it's what we need right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting students really excited about this that's our passions. That's what we really want to do is get them excited and then so they will want to learn all this awesome technology, and then they can go be innovative and create all the stuff that we need to clean up the mess we've all made of the world. So that's always the burden we put on the next generation, right? Go fix all this.
So today, David's gonna show us some cool stuff that's happening in Feria Labs. They're more on the Python side of the language, which is also one of the languages that is used in Xcode VR on our other competition categories. So let's hear more and learn about their platform. And I can stop sharing so you can share yours.
Okay.
Take it over to you.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so I'll show you a few slides just to show you kind of a background of our company and what we do, and then I'm going to switch over to showing you demonstrating some of our products, just to kind of give you a flavor for how our robots work and what this experience of the students is like, and maybe you'll get an idea of lots of ideas, hopefully, of how they could be used for RoboJam and other activities that you might be involved in. So let me get the old PowerPoint sharing here. I never know if PowerPoint's going to backfire on me, but does that screen look okay?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, you know how sometimes PowerPoint, when you make it go full screen, it decides to take over some other screen, and Anyway, so the company's Feria Labs. We're actually a small team. This is most of our team. We have, I think Daniel is not in this picture, and we have one or two other people that are not in that picture, but it's about 11 or 12 people in Alabama in the States. And we are mostly engineers, actually. Our company, Feria, also does consulting work, designs for different companies like in solar energy, healthcare, other industries like that. So we have a lot going on, but a big part of our mission as a company is to build educational technology products. And we're focusing on things like the robots, like the CodeBot that I showed. And we've also got other physical computing products, like we've got a circuit board computer that's the Codex, very similar to things like Arduinos or Raspberry Pis. And I'll talk a little bit about what makes them different, and why did we make something different. I guess we could have just made software to go on other robot platforms and things like that, but we needed certain capabilities in order to bring ease of use and also to focus on the programming. So we are really keen on teaching the computer science part, the coding, and the software part of this. We also have, our robots are expandable, and you can build onto the electronics, and we have designs that we can 3D print and snap onto them and things like that. But primarily, they are what we're teaching the students to do is write code to create, to solve problems and create projects using the code. So really heavily focused on the Python coding part. So I'm gonna. Some of these slides are kind of busy, so I'm gonna kind of go fast. Really, what this slide is saying is what sets us apart is this is built to be a professional level set of tools for coding. The authenticity part is that we have practicing real industry engineers that are writing the curriculum and building the projects that the students get to build. So it's very it has a different feel from like just an educational thing. To the students, it feels a bit more real world, and it is challenging. But we also try to make it. We give them the tools to debug their code and to persevere through the challenges, and it makes them. We think the outcomes from a student perspective makes them more career ready, makes them feel a sense of accomplishment that they've done something that's not just a toy, but it's a real world application, and hopefully sparks their imagination to do more things like this. I mentioned that our engineering team here works on projects, commercial projects like solar energy, smart lighting, a lot of different other industries, healthcare, and food service industries and things like that. A lot of places where right today technology is being embedded in a lot of different types of like industrial processes, and in things like lights over your head that you wouldn't necessarily expect there to be a computer in every light fixture, but actually there is these little computer chips. There are radio modules that are really small and they're pretty cheap. They're starting to go everywhere and go into different products. And so when we look at a robot like this, our engineering team looks at it like, well, this is the kind of thing we do all the time. This is an embedded computer, and it just happens to have wheels. Or this one's got a screen and lots of buttons and a lot of other sensors. We deal with in different applications, products that have a temperature sensor and a humidity sensor and a sound level sensor and a light level sensor. So all those things are in this product, and mostly the robots have the same sort of sensors, like an accelerometer to sense its orientation and whether it bumped into something or not, and that sort of thing. So really, robotics applications have a lot in common with this really big wave of computing that's happening in the world called the IoT, the Internet of Things. So we really see that that's very applicable to students. In the IoT applications, we use the language Python a lot. It's a professional language that's used. It's one of the most popular languages in the world for coding across a broad spectrum of applications, whether it's on microcontrollers like these robots or whether it's on the cloud. Python is a very well-used language, and it's also a great teaching language. And I think, as Jenny Lou and Eduardo mentioned, it's a platform, a language that's available even on some of the VEX platforms and things like that. So it's definitely applicable to robotics. And we'd like to see more of that being used across robotics because, first of all, having the students write code to program those robots gives them these really great, entry points into the job market out there, and it's skills that we want them to get excited about, but second of all, it gives you a great, an additional set of really neat things you can do, that make the robot smarter, and there's not that there's anything wrong with remote, controlling a robot. So that's one thing, but having the robot do autonomous things is even more exciting, actually, I think. And so I think enabling more sophisticated programming from the students as they compete and as they learn about the robotics is a really huge step. Another thing that Internet of Things does is it helps that it pretty much any interest that a student has, whether it's the arts or sports, music, agriculture, all of these application areas, and I can tell stories about each one of these pictures of where we have worked with companies or organizations that are putting tiny computers in all of these areas, and so there is some that not only are there computers that are very similar to the little radio modules that are on our robots, but there's software running on these things. So someone is writing the software that impacts all of these different areas. And so we think that this is a great way to connect with students who may not really be interested in being on a robotics team, but if you tell them, hey, if you're into music, you need to learn about coding because all of your music capture software and all the stuff that you're going to be using, a lot of things that are impacting your field that you're interested in are going to have to do with software. So wouldn't you like to be the person who's creating that versus just being someone who has to live with it, So we want to turn our students into creators, not just consumers of these technologies. So yeah, some of these slides, are just saying that there's a lot going on with the mechanical parts of robotics, and we are, as I was mentioning, really trying to focus in more on the coding side of it, and doing that with authenticity, and giving teachers the tools, and a lot of teachers who are maybe not necessarily your robotics coaches, but there's a lot of teachers that are being asked to teach, or really sometimes told they're going to teach a computer science subject that don't really have a background or a proper background in doing that. And so they're looking for better tools to help the situation be more productive for the student and less frustrating, and to actually have real good learning outcomes from it, versus just a student kind of struggling and not getting that all that excited about what it means to really write programs. And one of the things there is writing programs on a robot is a huge step up from just writing it on a black screen where you just got text, and so one of the things that we think is more authentic about our approach is we provide all of the details, all of the schematics. So you're looking at part of the schematic diagram of the CodeBot here, and we give them all the tools they need to go as far as they want to. So we're not holding anything back from a student who wants to get into the most detailed level of the robot. But on the other hand, we keep it very simple up front. We don't want them to be daunted or put off by too much sophistication right out of the gate. So it's what we'd like to call a low ceiling, a low floor and a high ceiling, right? You want to be able to get in easily, and it's easy to learn but difficult to master. There's so many things that they could go do. And I'll show you some of this curriculum that goes along with teaching the students about the robots, and making sure that all the students who go through our programs and our curricula learn the detailed bits that allow them to really control the robot. What we found as we went and spoke to robotics coaches and robotics teams and students was that oftentimes, let's say you have 7 to 10 students in a robotics team, that maybe only 2 or 3 of them really know much about the programming of it, and sometimes even those ones don't have a really firm grasp on how the sensors work, how the code, if you ask them to sort of take you line by line through the code that drives the robot or that makes it do the challenge, they struggle. So what we wanted to do was make it where we made a low-cost robot so that every student could have a one-on-one experience of plugging in their computer, typing in code, making an LED turn on and off, and then bringing it to life one piece at a time, so that now they're doing sophisticated applications, and you can stop the student and say, okay, tell me how this program works, and they can describe to you line by line, often with enthusiasm, because they're the ones who created that. So it's really trying to make it where every student understands the software and gets excited about the software side of it. And part of that is bringing the problems that we're trying to solve, are relevant problems. They're trying to make a robot do something interesting, just like in this picture. It's like the automatic guided vehicles that run around distribution centers. We try to always bring it back to something in the real world. It's where this is not just a toy, and it's not even just about a robot competition. This is, you're learning skills and you're learning applicable technologies that are driving the world. So I think a lot of students find that very inspiring. They won't say so in so many words necessarily, but that is something you can kind of see their eyes light up, and they take it more seriously when they know that this is like a professional thing. Here's you see like a screenshot of some of our tools, and I'm going to be demonstrating those tools for you here in just a minute. This slide that we have certifications, so the students have the ability, if they go through our virtual robotics program, to attain a certification. We're prepping them and we're aligning to 2 different certification organizations. One is OpenEDG, and that's a international certification group that has a Python certification. So if you're interested in having your students, and especially this is especially true at the high school level when they can get a credential. So if you're interested in that sort of credentialing, that's a really good path to go. And so we wanted to make sure we had a pathway that aligned with those certifications. So we have 2 different ones, OpenEDG and the Certiport IT Specialist Python, that we align to. You still have to go and I guess pay the fee to OpenEDG or Certiport to take the exam, but we give you the preparatory background to be able to do that. I'm going to skip over that one. I've talked about our different products, so I don't want to take the time to do that. I do want to talk about, I've been holding up this physical code bot, and so you see on the right-hand side of your screen a physical code bot. Well, we built a virtual code bot to go along with it. So this is something that we did during COVID, naturally, because we had a situation where a lot of students couldn't take the code bot home, and or were stuck at home. And so the virtual environment is what we wanted to do with a virtual environment was make it as much like the real world as possible. So we did not want to be a video game, a gamified environment, because there are students who love video games, but then there are those who don't necessarily or won't take it seriously. So what we try to do in the virtual environment is make it a real engineering simulation where the physics and the coding and everything that you do with the robot applies directly to the real world. And you can test your code on a virtual code bot and then run it on the physical code bot, and it should behave largely the same. So, and vice versa, you can take code that you've developed on the physical code bot and run it in the virtual world, and it works. So we like to call that virtual physical computing. So it's not just that you're stuck on the screen and you're not really talking about something real. It's really a real device. It just happens to be virtual. So I'm gonna jump out of the slides and I'll switch over to. Let me stop the share so I can share another window. I'll switch over to sharing the CodeSpace environment. So any questions so far about anything that I've said? I hope I haven't gone too fast.
No, you're good. So I like the certification program. You don't have to wait to graduate college to get certified.
Right.
I love the self-paced teaching the teacher, training the teacher, training the trainee, whichever goes first, and the physical and the virtual. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm bringing up CodeSpace. So CodeSpace is a web-based environment, and this is what we use for teaching the coding. So a student would start at the very beginning here. They would log in. This CodeSpace runs on a Chromebook. It runs on a Windows laptop, a Linux laptop, or a Mac. So any of those platforms can run CodeSpace. It doesn't require an installation. It doesn't require any downloads, or for instance, a lot of teachers don't have IT administrative rights on their computer, but you can still run CodeSpace. So that's a nice thing about it. And yet it allows you to connect through a USB cable to your robot and write some Python code. So you write the Python code over here on the left-hand side of the screen. In fact, there's a little tour here that shows how that works in CodeSpace. There's an editor built in. So you've got a professional text editor. You've got a whole different sets of curricula that you can load in. The lessons are all step-by-step. So we take you step-by-step through those lessons. The students gain experience points along the way. And there's a teacher dashboard that lets you see how the students are doing. They collect tools that give them a reference to the code in this little toolbox. And I'm showing you the version 1 of our CodeSpace environment. I'm going to be showing you 2 different things. Now, this version is what we use for the physical code bots. So I wanted to show that first, and then I'll switch over to the virtual. But the toolbox tools just have topics like debugging and things like this. So that's how that works. And I just was flipping around to show some of the projects as you get into the more advanced projects, like navigation project. It talks about how are you've navigated using the line sensors. So we teach them about these sensors and how they work. So they get to understand, students get a real deep background in how the sensor works. And then we tell them the Python code that they would need to type in to read that sensor. And then once we've taken them through the basics, we take them sort of step by step through doing that, and then give them a little bit of code to type in. They type it in here on the left-hand side of the screen and then run it. And then step by step, they build up projects with their code bot. So the one that I'm on right now is about navigation. It's about using the wheel encoders and counting the pulses as the wheels turn. So on the bottom of the code bot, we're using these yellow TT motors, but we've also got the wheel encoders, the little slotted disc on the back. And actually, I've got a little picture here where an LED, an infrared LED shines a light through that disc. And so you know exactly how far the wheel has turned. So you can have really precise movement, precise angles and precise distances. But we actually take the students through the process of writing the code to detect how far the wheel has turned. So they have to write their own function to make the robot move a particular distance. So by the end of this project, they've now written a function that says drive, and you give it the number of centimeters, and it will drive forward by the exact number of centimeters. Or you can turn by a specified angle in degrees, and it will turn that precise angle. So we're actually taking these really common little yellow motors and turning them into a very sophisticated feedback loop. So we're kind of teaching that engineering principle of building a controlled feedback loop. So really rigorous, good topics for students to understand that are common to pretty much every robotics platform. Uses servos that have feedback and things like that. But most of the time, the students didn't really get a background of how that stuff works. How do those servos really work? So we're giving them that really depth of understanding.
Okay,
So,
hold on, David. Yep. I think Eduardo is raising his hand. I think he has a question.
Okay.
I do have a question. The thing, I've been listening to you all along while I was packing my stuff. And the moment I love when you start explaining how the sim that you have, it's pretty much the same as the physical robot. I love that part because that's a big issue we have sometimes. Because even though we can learn the programming interface, the graphic user interface for the coding language, but it doesn't behave exactly the same in the same as it is in real life, because in real life we have to take into account different variables like friction, for example, right? What type of wheels do I use? Things like that are going to affect my robot. So I love that fact of what you were explaining. I have a quick question. I was looking into when you were explaining the code space and all that. How do people, and I think this is very interesting for, I think everybody, a lot of people has this question is, how do teachers get to use this platform? Does he have a cost? Is it per student? Does he have a fee per person, a fee per class, or is it free? How does it work? I think a lot of people is asking the same question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I'm showing you here, CodeSpace does have a cost. Of course, you have to buy the robot, and so we sell the robot coupled with a license for the platform. So if you've got a robot, and like in Daniel, if you're on, you can remind me of the prices because I don't necessarily know them right offhand, but it's like what is it if it's 10 or more? These are
They're 149 each if they buy 10 or more, and that's
Okay.
going to allow them to have the code bots and access to the student curriculum and the teacher resources they need.
Right. And then so that gives you full access to you get the robot and you get the platform. The platform, so the license that you're buying is really to this that comes with the robot is to all the curriculum pieces. There is a license fee even on the second year to continue to access the curriculum. So there's a yearly fee that's less than that, but that doesn't, even if you didn't renew the license fee, you can still log into CodeSpace, program your robot, and do all the things. So you have all your code and everything that you've done. You just don't have the curriculum. So the curriculum itself is licensed. The CodeSpace platform, they will have access to no matter what. And you can log in and create an account on CodeSpace even anytime. And let me just go ahead and say, and Daniel may want to add some additional points. I'm going to switch over to the simulation environment. The simulation environment is similar, right? But with the simulation environment, if you want to try it, you can go to sim.ferialabs.com and go test Python code on this robot that works exactly the same as this. And there's a short set of lessons that are free, and those will always be free. And you can go test your CodeBot code. So if you've got a real physical CodeBot and you want to go play with the virtual one and test out your code, that's something that you can do without cost. And we would love to have more teachers using even just this basic first set of Python lessons. And, hopefully they'll love it and they'll want to buy a robot from us and things like that. But even if they don't go that far, I think it's a great student experience. The students will learn some Python and they can test it out on a robot. And this is what I'm going to be using to demonstrate for you guys. So writing some code and running it on here. So yeah, that's the short answer to that. Daniel can provide a lot more information and, work out with volume discounts and things like that. So he's got that stuff covered. I'm more the technical guy. So yeah. But yeah, so the and this platform that I'm showing you here is actually even the curriculum that's in our code space with the physical robots is going to be moving into this platform. This is our newer platform, so it'll be much easier even to move code back and forth. But just to give you an idea of both of them have the same sort of lessons. Like here's the inside of one of those yellow motors that you were talking about. It's if you tear one apart, that's what it looks like, right? So there's a tool in your toolbox about the motors, and then the Python code for enabling the motors, and then you can independently control the left and the right motor. So here's how you would do that in Python. So this project is all about teaching them how to get those motors moving. So the first thing we tell them to do is just let's write some code to rotate the motors. So we have this thing called the code trek, and it actually takes them through what they need to type in. And sometimes there's a to-do. They have to fill in the code here. Where we don't give them all the code, but it gives them a little bit of a framework for what they need to do. And so once they're ready, they can come over here. And so I'm going to type that in. So it's from bot core. So this is Python code. And then so that's my main library that lets me access the robot hardware. So just because this is not the very first project we give them. The first project is much more basic even than this. Which is just like to turn on the LEDs. So let's try some LEDs. LEDs.user. I'm going to turn on LED 0. So that's this one right here. These are arranged as a byte. So if I run that code, it turns on. It's really fast and just immediate response what you can do there. And we teach them also that you can control those LEDs in binary. So you can send a binary like 1010 1010 and light them up in a pattern like that, So this is just using Python's capability of doing binary things. And we teach them how to do loops and make the LEDs blink back and forth. So for instance, a Python while loop. And again, I'm just giving you a quick demo. We would not just expect the students to be able to do this right off the bat, but we teach them one step at a time. Jenny Lou can tell you, we don't just throw it all at them.
No, it's hard. I mean,
I can tell you something. But I can tell you something. If I understand what you're doing, anybody can understand. My background is in advertising. I'm not
Oh,
an
okay,
engineer.
okay.
Okay, my background was in advertising. That's what I went to college for. So when I started in robotics, everybody's like, "What are you doing in robotics?" Like, no, I'm like, "Yeah, it's so easy that even a person who works in advertising can do it."
Yeah, that's nice. So I mean, so this is the kind of thing we teach them step by step how to do things to make it, so this is a loop in Python. This is an infinite loop. It's a while loop. And then, so it's in this case, because I'm saying while true, that just means that it's going to do it forever, because true is always going to be true. So a while loop normally just keeps going under a condition. And then we're just setting the LEDs. We're sleeping, which is a time delay. And then we set the LEDs differently, and we're sleeping again. So that's like a really simple loop. Another thing that we do, and this is, I could take that same code and run it on my physical robot. It would do exactly the same thing, because all the Python APIs are the same. Another thing that we have that's really special from the standpoint of other tools out there, especially for education and robotics, is we have a debugger. We can actually let them step into the code and see what's going on. And when they're debugging, they can actually pop up and see the variables that they've defined. If and this program doesn't have any variables, but these are things that professional tools have, but it's not common to see these on something like, an educational robotics platform. So you can really, once your code gets more sophisticated, you can know how to debug it. But moving on to the motors, I could say motors. So part of this particular project that I'm on right here is about learning how to rotate. So my goal is rotate my robot by turning the wheels in equal and opposite directions. So all I have to do is, first I've got to enable the motors. And then I've got to make the left motor, let's just make it go, we'll go a little bit slower than that. How about 20% power in reverse? And we'll run the right motor. Oops. Well, I should make a mistake and see what happens. I'll not capitalize that properly. We'll do 20% forward. So I try to run that. So it puts me right on the line of code where the error is and says, okay, I don't understand what right means. So I'm going to fix that error. And there's a lot of really good error messages in there, but we really try to make it so that we help the student get that correct. So now I've got it where it's turning and the lights are still blinking and everything. I could put a different camera angle and make it where we're right attached to the robot, or the chase cam where we can follow it around. So that's just a simple example. And because I completed that objective, now I can go on to the next. So we usually, the students are lockstep. We make them, finish one objective, and then they go into the next one. So the next one, they're gonna make it drive in a circle, and we're starting to put some obstacles. The final project on this sequence, we actually, wait, no, it's this one. We make them hit these tennis balls. So like if I reset, you see the tennis balls drop in. So I actually make it, I have to go around and within 30 seconds, I hit at least 2 tennis balls. So that's a fun challenge. So this is getting a little bit more like a robotics tournament type thing. One of the things that I talked to Jenny Liu about was we can set up some special challenges, and we could even make that where it's, you don't have to purchase anything. You can just come in and do a special challenge with this platform. And we've done that for, like we did that for CS Ed Week last year. We did a special challenge in one of our environments. We have a lot of different classroom environments. So for instance, I'll show you one for line following. So
yeah, that's what I'm going to suggest that they see.
Yeah.
The balloons as well.
The balloons is a good one. So we teach them how to make, so we start out with these little signboards, and we're teaching them how to use the sensors to follow a line. And this is just these are sort of standard Coroplast signboards. And the first actual line follower is a bang bang controller. So it uses the line sensors. we were talking about before. They're using the API, the Python API for the line sensors, and then we teach them how to do that and give them a little bit of a little bit of code. They have to fill in some of the code themselves, but it's pretty simple. And actually, I don't know that I have the Bang Bang controller already written. I used to have that in here, but all the files get stored on the cloud. I think, do I have simple line follower? I've got a more sophisticated line follower program I know I have in here. I've got way too many files, but I'll just use that one. So this is one of the later line follower projects that we use. So this just shows you, so actually if I back up here and show you the whole environment, we've taken a classroom and we made this huge kind of line following course. So again, we want the environments to be realistic, but it's not like you would ever really set this up in your classroom, but you could set this up. And so there's your challenge to get all the way around this course. And and you're starting out down here. So so let's see, we put the chase cam view here, and then I've got my code I've written over here on the right hand side, and we go.
I was going to say, David, that everything is possible. I mean, I've been in competitions with line follower robots where we do have a seesaw. We have,
oh yeah, nice, yeah,
those type of things. And so, I mean, and you have to be very specific in your code when you have those extra, how you say, obstacles in your in your course, right? It's way different. So that's cool.
I know.
So this one,
super complex thing. It's exciting.
Yeah. And it won't necessarily make it every time. I mean, and it does exactly what the real one does. Sometimes it'll miss a line and then just go too fast over the edge. And you can adjust your speed. Like I've got my speed turned down a little bit here, but yeah, it's very realistic how it works. And we actually made our line followers much better by going through this course. The ones on the real robot. And we have, I'll show you. We have line following courses like that,
right.
For the real robots. So it's very realistic. So yeah, and so I could actually stop my code at any time here. Just stop him and see how we're doing. I can open up a console window and print out, like here I've been printing out the line sensors, because we have 5 line sensors on the bottom of the robot. And so you can sort of print out the values and debug the code. So there's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool challenge. We did a challenge when we did the CS Ed Week challenge last year. We did it on the stage, and that's where this dance competition is. And Jenny Lou was talking about the dance competition.
Took me a while to do that.
Yeah. So we did for CS Ed Week, we took, so this is like an auditorium environment in a school, and we built a big maze, and it spelled out the word CodeBot, but it was a maze, and you had to get through like a labyrinth, right? And so you had to get through, and you could, there were checkpoints, and you'd see your time as you went through each one. And then we put it out as an open contest. We said anybody can log in. You don't even have to. There's like, all you do, you just create an account. It's free to create an account. You don't have to have any kind of like credit card or anything. You just create an account, and that way you can save your code, see who can make the fastest time through here, and send us a picture. We had them send us just a screenshot, because on the last, there were like these little checkpoint cards. On the last card, we had the time, and then when you hit it, and then it had a special like a code, like a hash code. So we knew that it was, we could check and see, was that real? Did they really do that? Or was it a Photoshop, So we had people, and the prize of whoever won was a CodeBot. So you get to win a real CodeBot, So that was really great. And it was not too difficult for us to put that together and have an actual challenge like that. The one I think Jenny Lou's talking about is the challenge at the end of this dance bot is to hit a certain number of balloons. So you have a timer, you have 30 seconds, and you have to hit at least, I think it's 5 balloons, right? On this one.
5.
Yeah. And so it's not easy. It's not easy to hit that objective. but yeah, it's doable, and you can reset the balloons and have them fall down again, and but it pretty, I mean, the physics is pretty good. It reacts about like you would expect when it hits the balloons and stuff, depending on how fast you're going, and you can drive it right off the stage and make bad things happen. I don't know what would happen if I put my line following code in here. It's probably going to go straight off the stage.
It can really like get thrown off the stage, throw itself off the stage.
Yeah. So anyway, it's but yeah, it's definitely challenging, fun, and realistic, all at the same time. So there's really, I mean, there's no limit to what we can do with that, and we have a lot of content here. This curriculum, this mission, we call them mission packs. So this mission pack has a lot of content that takes them all the way from, lighting up the first LED, and then they learn a little bit of Python. They learn how to do loops and if statements, and, you can check the buttons, and then you're reading the sensors. So you have inputs and outputs, all the way through, using that wheel encoder. So just the same as we were doing a wheel encoder in the physical code bot, you have to use the wheel encoder in the virtual code bot. So we teach them all the same principles that they would use for the physical robots, and so that's it's challenging but also very engaging to students. So that's kind of the basic examples. I can actually, just for fun, give you a demo of taking
David,
like the simple code. Yes.
All I want to say is that's amazing. I think it's really cool. I can see, like, hopefully in the not so distant future, to have something working, RoboJam and Period Labs for this, because the whole point of this is to provide this opportunity for the kids to actually explore the code, to have the opportunity to learn how to code in the first place, and to apply that knowledge, right? To apply it, even if it's in a virtual environment. I mean, the whole point of, I think it's amazing. I always say that we have been having Sims, and we've been having Zoom meetings for years, even before the pandemic. But the pandemic made it possible for us to realize all these tools were available, and these tools are actually very useful, especially for teaching. So all I have to say is thank you for being here. I think all you were showing is amazing, and I really hope we can do something together, something definitely we have to talk about.
He stopped bagging his stuff and he watched.
Cool. Well, I feel good. That makes me feel really good. I feel honored that you stopped packing for me. But I think we got to do it. It's this could be, it would be so much benefit for not too much effort to get something together, and then having that, it's the way we've built this, it's really easy to just jump in and try it. And jump in and start writing code and try it. It doesn't take a lot of there's not a lot of friction for a student to just try it, and for our teacher to bring it in and say, well, everybody go through the first couple of lessons. It's going to teach you some Python. It's going to teach you the basics. Even our free, and you should go try when you get some time, go to sim.fairylabs.com and go through the free lessons there, and it'll take you through, like, the tennis ball thing is in there, so you'll learn enough to be like, okay, I think I could do something. And then we give you a challenge. So then it might be the RoboJam, challenge with, that we do for this year, and we'll have like a special challenge, and we could have one periodically, right? And just like, okay, and maybe there's some prizes or whatever. And really there doesn't have to be a cost, or at least not much cost. Like if you're going to give a prize out, maybe you want to have a small registration cost. I don't know. But basically you could make it where it was affordable, and it could get a huge number of students to be able to have that experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, David.
Yep, sure. Thank you. And again, safe travels and stuff. So, yeah. All right. Well, Jenny Lou, anything else that I could talk about or we could discuss? Be happy to. So.
I am so happy that you accepted the invitation, first of all, and I'm gonna add Daniel in here, and I think Daniel's gonna put his contact information, right, Daniel? Like
I did. I put that out on the YouTube channel that you shared with me.
Okay, so yeah, after I saw the platform, and I really feel like we do have that wide list of opportunities to get the coding and the hardware to the kids' hands, and focus more on the application to solve real life situations. And it's really, really nice having you in this organization as a partner. Soon.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like it's a good fit for us, and you know, I love what you're doing. I wish I could have seen more of Eduardo's. I guess I'll go back and watch it of Eduardo's presentation, because that's exciting stuff. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so do you still have any other words you want to share?
I think that's probably the most of it right there. As you know, Jenny Lou, I could talk forever, and so I'm going to spare you that. And definitely, if anyone has any questions, you can find us at ferialabs.com. Send an email to like info@ferialabs, or to Daniel at Ferialabs if you want to find out more about the how to get some robots of your own. Other than that, we're happy to help. We are on a mission to make robotics more accessible, and to supply that extra technical piece, whether it's interfacing electronics or interfacing coding to robots. That's kind of where we fit in. So definitely look us up if that's of interest.
Yes, and Daniel, you said we're gonna have some PD opportunities soon. Is that still possible? PD for teachers?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that PD and some other things that we talked about in our meeting, where we'll kind of potentially have some monthly or quarterly kind of short kind of best practices sessions that we'll start rolling out as we get into the late third and early fourth quarter.
All righty. Well, thank you. And then I'm gonna continue on our little progress on RoboJam here. So we do have one more slide from our other partner, Vex. And thank you so much again, Ferialabs, for joining us today. I'm not gonna hold you to wait, because I know it's already late at night, and we've been working since what, 9 your 10 o'clock, right? Oh, you're muted, David.
Yeah, I was saying you are most impressive because you've put in so many hours, I know, Jenny Lou. So thank you so much, and thank you for having us. So I'll sign off now. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, so we're going to continue on our last parts. One more message and one more, almost there. Let me skip these. Okay, so we do have Vex Code VR under Vex, and we have a video message from Andy Lee from our Vex Asia sponsors.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Andy from Vex Robotics. I want to welcome you to our new education competition season for the 2022-2023 year. I think that there's a lot to share with you and a lot of exciting things that we'd like to get started with. So maybe let's just first have a quick recap of the previous season.
The VEX Robotics World Championship is our largest event. This year, we welcome over 2,900 teams. That's over 30,000 students from 40 countries to VEX Worlds here in Dallas, Texas. They're all here to celebrate their success, meet new friends, and have a good time.
Teams from all around the globe have been competing all year to qualify and compete here at the World Championship. There are thousands of teams here, but only a handful of them are walking home with that trophy. But the rest of them, they're not going home empty-handed or empty-hearted. They're learning a ton of new lessons with regards to teamwork, working with people from other countries, other states, other regions, stress management, project management, in an environment that isn't really like anything else that students can get, especially at this age.
Doing what these students are doing here is hard. It's challenging. It's emotional. The competition is an important part of the motivation and the reward for that. They see the fruits of their work.
Getting to the state championship, getting to the regional championship, knowing that you are the strongest competitor in that area is the highlight. But we want to celebrate the success with people from all over the world because we believe robotics is more than just the competition. It's actually the language of robots and talking robots with people from different cultures. So we create this incredible event that brings people from all over the world so you can learn about different cultures, learn about different programs, and oh yeah, at the end of it all, we do crown world champions and you will see some amazing robots.
They are coming together. They have worked for months and months on their robots, so we are here to help celebrate that. Yes, we are competing, but really it's about learning from each other and coming together to celebrate robotics and all that it provides.
VEX World, so it's like a new experience, meeting new people, making new friends, more memories that will last like a lifetime.
From my pit, I went around and I met so many people from different parts of the country and the world. It was very nice seeing those people. It just felt like a very welcoming atmosphere.
What's so cool about VEX World is that you have all of these students from all over the world getting to know each other, getting to collaborate with one another, and in the future, they're going to be collaborating on projects to send missions to Mars, to build the next solar array, to do great things for our world.
I chose VEX Robotics because the Air Force uses a lot of robotic entities to get the job done as far as most important disposal is concerned. All the robots and all the different nationalities you see here that work so hard to come and be qualified to come to an event like this. Those type of skills and those type of skill sets are crucial to learning.
Where else in traditional sports do kids come together to compete internationally? Well, they're able to see and experience just a different level of engineering. Every year I tell people when I go to Worlds, no matter how good I think our program is, I'm humbled within 5 minutes as to what's out there and what these kids can do.
To our administrators and teachers, VEX Worlds is a big deal. I mean, it's the pinnacle of what we do. But it's okay if you don't actually strive for VEX Worlds, if you strive just to have a program in your school. But if you want to see how these programs impact students from across the world, try to attend VEX Worlds at least once. I guarantee it will blow your mind.
So as you can see, VEX Robotics is part of a global community, and I'm welcoming all to get involved in educational robotics. It's a great aggregator, be able to develop both your technical skills and also have fun and develop your soft skills. So a little bit about some updates for VEX Robotics is that we have our continuum that goes from K to career, starting with VEX 123, Introduction to Computational Thinking. We have VEX Go, which is an introduction to mechatronics. We have an update to VEX IQ, which is now in the second generation. There's a lot of technical advantages and a lot of ease of use. And then something new for entry into secondary school, into high school, is VEX EXP. This is our entry level into metal robotics construction platform. Then we move on to what is familiar to all with the VEX V5 system. And we have competition in there as well. Last but not least is VEX V5 WorkCell. This is an introduction into workforce automation. It's a 5-axis robotic arm, which we're excited that students will learn how to build, program, and also troubleshoot so that they can prepare themselves for careers in the future. We also have an update with our software. VEX Code VR will always have a portion that is for free. VexCode VR was very helpful during the pandemic. We've had over 3.6 million unique users use VexCode VR to learn how to code in both blocks and in Python. What's wonderful about VexCode VR is all you need is an internet access, a computing device, and a browser. You don't need any hardware to just get started. And then from there, you can progress to higher level, more involved text-based programming. So what we are introducing in September in the fall is VexCode Enhanced and also VexCode Advanced. So these two platforms will exist where there'll be much more support. You'll be able to use them offline as well as online. And on top of that, there's going to be a lot of activities and competition available. So these are going to be behind our paywall in the fall, but you can check them out now by visiting vr.vex.com. We've also updated our curriculum. So as mentioned, we offer a new platform, Vex EXP, and also Vex V5 Workcell. We've offered standards aligned curriculum as well as certification for that. So check it out by going to education.vex.com for our curriculum, or for our certifications by visiting certifications.vex.com. We've also been able to introduce Vex PD Plus. Professional Development Plus is an online learning community that supports educators and makes a much bigger community of STEM enthusiasts. It's also an annual educator conference. And on top of that, there's live courses, curriculum, video, as well as community functions that allow the educators to be able to network with each other. So this is something that you would want to check out. There's a 3-day free trial available right now. So last not least, I believe that all of you are very interested in robotics competition. This season's game for Vex IQ competition is called Slapshot. So it's played on a 6-foot by 8-foot field, and the game and field elements look as follows. We also have, for the Vex robotics competition, new game. It's called Spin Up, and Spin Up is played on a 12 by 12 foot field. What is also new is that we are introducing a VRC portable field perimeter that's made from plastic, high impact plastic, that's 50% lighter than the traditional metal field. You're able to have the GPS code printed directly onto the field walls. And on top of this, you can assemble this by one person in just 15 minutes and then be able to disassemble it and put it inside a wheeled carrying case to take to your next competition or store away. We want to thank all supporters of educational robotics. From Vex, I want to say thank you very much. To know more about our robotics competition, please visit roboticseducation.org. If there's any questions about Vex Robotics, you can also reach us and you can visit our website, vexrobotics.com. If you'd like to compete in an event, please don't hesitate to contact our regional events manager. They can be reached at ap-events@vex.com. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best into this new season, and we will definitely hope to see you at an event in the near future. Thank you.
All right, so everybody, we do have a lot of partners for our competitions. So make sure that be aware that anybody who has any platform or any kit that they use can join, especially RoboJam Philippines. Reminders, we do have our challenges up here on the screen. We have Robo Sketch, disc drill, colorant, clamber, skill drive, and biped raise. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Remember, our registrations is due on the 23rd Philippine time. And here are our contact information. You can email us at robojamph@gmail.com. We do have our Facebook page, RoboJam Philippines. You can do via Twitter, RoboJam Philippines. You can rewatch or go to our Steam Powered Teacher YouTube channel. If you can hit like and subscribe, to our channel to see the past events. Also, we have Mr. Roboto website. We have RoboJam Philippines, RoboJamPH.com website. So all information are on our website. If you still have other questions, please email us, and we are going to try to get back to you as soon as possible. So that's it for today's kickoff, and I'm looking forward to seeing your registration on our registration link. You can scan our QR code right here, or just go to our website and Facebook page. Please make sure that if you are under a team, make sure to use the team name and make sure to write and double check, type in your coach email. All information will be sent to your coaches as well as participants in order for you not to miss an event. Every time we are going to have a schedule or schedule changes, there's going to be an email sent to you. So again, thank you for watching, and this is going to be the beginning. We do have 27 days, and you have until the 23rd to register. See you again on our next event, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay. We're gonna stop streaming. See you.